That is not the noise that I was expecting to come from that gargoyle. Hey everyone, we're back. We made it to High Guardian Spice episode 2. We finally get to the actual academy that the plot is based around. So all the new students gather into the dome of the school and the dean comes out, or should I say deans. Now they're known as the Triad, and they're kind of in charge of the High Guardian Academy. As you can see, there is speculation that they are supposed to be the same woman, but different life periods of her time. That's supposed to be something deep about maturity and, you know, how we're different people throughout our lives. But me personally, I've watched Danny Phantom growing up. I think Clockwork did it better. Now, while they're all gathered under the dome, they do meet up with Parsley again and Time. And remember how Parsley said she was going to give Rosemary her locket all fixed and ready to go when she saw her at school? Well, apparently the writers didn't, because that didn't happen. Also, so long as I'm making fun of the voice acting, does anyone else think that Parsley sounds like Jimmy Neutron?
Here! I am here! Parsley, I am here!
They find out that Time is actually Parsley's roommate, which explains why she was there when they were going to get the locket fixed. And you know, it also kind of forces them to hang out together, I guess, because Time is going to be around Parsley and Parsley's going to be around Rosemary and Sage. You know, so even though they got off to a bad start, they're basically being forced to be friends. Now, before their classes begin, the Triad gives them an assignment.
We have a thing to say.
Now, since they are entering the High Guardian Academy, they're going to be under the vows of the High Guardians. But for their first assignment, they are to yell into a well their own personally written vows. Now, at the end of the episode, we circle back to this assignment, but to give you the full experience of watching this episode, I'll just tell you everything in between that happens, and then we'll get back to why the Wells assignment was stupid. So they all go to their separate classes. Rosemary goes to an ethics class first. During class, she has a very lukewarm introduction to Snapdragon. They both kind of snicker at each other when they open up their books and a lizard comes out. Then she draws him a picture of the two lizards and gives it to him. He, of course, assumes that she's making fun of him and throws it back in her face. And her big takeaway from this is that Snapdragon is a mean guy. Next we see Sage's class where they're learning magic stuff. And this is where we first get introduced to Professor Caraway, who explains that while old magic is a fundamental and you still need to learn it, we're mostly going to be learning about new magic and terror spheres, aka magic staffs. Yes, magic staffs and wands are supposed to be the new magic, even though that's very old for, you know, anyone who looks into fantasy. You'd think it would be the other way around, where like magic staffs, tomes, and wands would be the old magic and the new magic would be like just using your hands. Now Sage only knows old magic and her parents only want her to use old magic, so she feels pretty out of place. She also manages to get a bully. Oddly enough, Professor Caraway doesn't say anything about the girl bullying her in front of the whole class. He just kind of laughs with the bully.
Sir Family can read? That is wild.
Parsley, in her blacksmithing class, does so well that she actually moves up to a more advanced class. And then we get the announcement that it's time to, I guess, pick your electives. So everyone is to go outside and look at the different options for their special thing.
You gotta start running! We need to get to the rotunda!
I just wanted to note that they did have a black man voice acting for this show, and instead of making him this character, they made him the evil white guy. Now, the elective montage is kind of pointless. It's kind of just put there to, like, insert a montage of jokes where Rosemary is really bad at everything. Afterwards, we get back to the regular classes, and Sage goes to a potion class with her bully. Everyone has totally not suspicious tea at their desk, and she decides to randomly just knock her tea over, just because. Then we get introduced to the potions professor, and she tells them all to drink the tea. The tea is poison, that is turning them into hideous monsters and will eventually kill them. And their first assignment is to find a cure for the poison that the teacher gave to all of their students, but all of them are, you know, so stressed out, and some of them are incapable of creating a potion because they don't have any hands anymore. So the only one who's actually able to find the cure is Sage, because she didn't drink the potion. Now, if the point of making them drink poison is to put them under a high stress situation to see how they deal with it, then I would argue that Sage didn't pass because she was never put under a high stress situation like the others were. She never had any risk of dying like everyone else in class did. So of course she's the only one who's able to find the cure. But one has to wonder, how does anyone pass this teacher's class? I really hated this scene because it really points out all of the bad parts of Hogwarts. Like, the big criticism on Harry Potter is that the professors were always putting the students in really extremely dangerous situations. Students were dying left and right on all of those movies. And instead of this show trying to avoid falling into that same pitfall, they decided to emphasize that pitfall and make it a trench. Not only do the teachers not try to protect the students, but they actively try to kill the students! Wonderful academy. Rosemary, on the other hand, is wrestling with some baby dragons, it looks like, and she's the only one in her class who is failing. Which is ironic because Rosemary is revealed to have gotten training from her mother, who's a professional warrior. You would think that she would be more experienced. You know, Parsley was more experienced because she had all this blacksmithing experience, and she ended up moving up a class. But Rosemary, she has experience, and yet she's failing at very basic warrior classes. I think that this is just a shoehorned attempt to try to show Rose as the underdog, because people relate more to underdogs, but it just doesn't make that much sense. With Sage, it made sense that she's kind of the underdog because she's not allowed to learn new magic, and that's going to be a huge thing that holds her back throughout the classes. Now that we have montaged through all of their classes, we finally circle back to the well assignment. So the triad comes out, and they're like, okay, we told you all to give us your very personal vows and yell them into this well. All of you were wrong about your vows. Your personal vows were wrong. So then they use their magical power to bring up the hologram magical recording from the well, and all of their vows get publicly shown to the entire first year class, and the triad laughs and criticizes the students for their personal vows. And then instead they start to state the true vow of the High Guardian Spice Academy. And basically the reason why all of their vows were wrong was because neither of them talked about giving up their life. They lecture everyone like, all of you need to do better. And then that's it.
Okay, bye.
And Rosemary doesn't take that seriously. She's like, oh yeah, they're just saying that to scare newbies away. And then the episode ends.
We survive.
So, just to recap, that well assignment was pointless. They had so much build-up behind it, and it holds no weight, and they're not even being graded on it. So is it really an assignment? I don't know. What happened to the people who didn't yell into the well? Were they expelled? What would happen if someone got it right? What would happen if someone said, yeah, I'll give my life for the academy? Would they applaud them and put them on a shoebox? The point of episode 2 is to just show all the classes that they'll be attending and to introduce the teachers. It's not a bad idea on paper, but it did turn out pretty messy and everything felt like a very long montage. Overall, this is another episode where not much happens. They seem to be really focused on setting up bullies and, you know, having Sage feel really nervous about her first day, to which Rose responds with, "You can't be nervous because it makes me sad." And then Sage goes, "I guess I won't be nervous then." Best pep talk ever. That's about all you get from High Guardian Spice episode 2. Another episode that feels like filler, but I'm sure something will happen in episode 3, right? Right? Thank you guys for watching. Remember to like if you did enjoy the review, comment down below, help support the channel, subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, especially if you want to see more of these reviews from me. I'll see you guys next time. Till then, bye!
Too bad one of your strengths isn't writing.
Program restart. Shutting down all systems.